As Nigeria grapples with a persistent shortfall in the availability of essential medicines, pharmacists are turning to drug compounding and mini-drug production to bridge the gap and sustain critical healthcare services in hospitals and clinics. This year's annual scientific conference of the West African Postgraduate College of Pharmacists, FCT Zone, held in Abuja, focused on strengthening the capacity of resident pharmacists in drug compounding, quality control, and the integration of traditional medicine into modern healthcare systems. Our correspondent reports.
Drug compounding and ad hoc preparation of medicines not readily available on the market offers a lifeline to vulnerable patients. It enables pharmacies to tailor dosage, especially for children, the elderly, and critical care patients who cannot use standard commercial drugs. Here in Nigeria, pharmacists are leveraging these techniques to tackle the growing crisis of medicine insecurity. Speaking at the event in Abuja, the Managing Director of Asokoro District Hospital, Dr. Chidi Inwabuchi, alongside a representative of NAFDAC, emphasized the need for increased adoption of drug compounding practices within health institutions.
Local compounding is the way to go. And since the assumption of the Director General NAFDAC, she has introduced a lot of policies to see that local production is made possible. For example, there's what we call the 5+5 policy, which had been in place in NAFDAC to encourage local production. If after importing product for some time, the law expects you to begin local production of that product. In that way, the product becomes cheaper and becomes more available.
Nigeria is old enough to be able to manufacture most of the medications that we need here. And part of the problem we have with those that come from outside is that sometimes transportation of the medications is not ideal. They may not come in at the best temperature, which will affect the efficacy. And then there's also this issue of a lot of fake products coming into the country from outside. So I believe that if these medications are manufactured here, we should ideally get better quality medications, easier to regulate, and the medications should come in the best state.
They called on chief medical doctors and regulatory agencies to empower consultant pharmacists who have the professional experts to compound life-saving medications that are often not commercially available.
The team is key in the sense that we are saying that through drug compounding, mini production, and quality control, the safety and availability of medicines can be guaranteed at the point of use in the hospital as expected by our national drug policy and also well enunciated by the pharmacy compendia on minimum standards of pharmaceutical care in centers. That's why we are advocating that relevant regulatory agencies and also institutions, these chief medical directors and the medical directors, should empower the pharmacists, the consultant pharmacists, to execute this task.
Take two. While efforts to review the drug revolving fund policy are on the way, participants expressed concern over the lack of enforcement mechanism. They stressed that without legal backing and sanctions, implementation of the policy remains weak, allowing for mismanagement of vital medicine funds.
This conference today is to build our capacity so that to make these compounding preparations more available to the public.
Sometimes some drugs are so scarce that in the way that they are manufactured, that it is only when you are able to now maybe convert the solid dose into syrup form that the patient will be able to afford.
A director in the Federal Ministry of Health also advocated for the integration of traditional and alternative medicine into Nigeria's formal healthcare system. He noted the untapped economy and therapeutic value of traditional remedies and called for policy development to support their safe and regulated use.
Recently, the Honorable Minister of State for Health has inaugurated a committee that will advance more the fight to medicine commercialization to drive its value chain, because we are losing a lot as a country. If you see a country like India, China, US and others, so many of our people are going there to access these services, So there is need to standardize these services so that we can integrate them into the modern orthodox medicine.
The conference concluded with strong calls for urgent policy reforms, improved funding and institutional support to sustain pharmaceutical services in the country, especially in the face of ongoing drug shortage and uneven access to care.